Just out here on a fairly picturesque view of the Peak District. Out for a little ride on my new BMW R90. Well, I say new, 2019. It's been interesting, as per my last video, changing from a 790 Adventure to this. Well, not change, I still actually have the 790 Adventure, kind of story on that later. But yeah, I've had this Scrambler, and it's technically still capable of a little bit of off-roading, as Scramblers are, but obviously nowhere, I wouldn't say anywhere as near capable as my 790. But I have already kind of increased its capability ever so slightly. There are some kind of recommended mods and stuff you can do, but the cheapest and easiest and recommended one is I've upgraded the shock, the rear shock, which everybody agrees on the R90 Scrambler is like really not that great. It's kind of a poor, harsh ride, and it really was. It's quite jittery and it doesn't really have much damping or rebound. So really it was a priority to change that, which I did. And that has made a significant difference. It's still a little bit of a pogo, a little bit pogo. It's a little bit bouncy on rough roads, but not harsh. You know, you're taking away the harshness, but I think there's probably a little bit more dialing in I can do with that. But I've left the front suspension as stock. Not a huge amount of ground clearance, don't have a skid plate on it yet, but I have brought it up some of my relatively straightforward kind of gravel roads, you know, kind of off-road things around here, and it's done it. You know, I've been able to stand up, the posture's been okay. I've also raised the bars. I've lowered the foot pegs with a kit that you get that takes it down by 20mm. And that really makes a big difference as well. And so yeah, every bike you can kind of dial in a little bit, make it better. But she does look good, right? Sounds good. You know, I think it's a more rewarding sound, kind of growly, kind of acoustic to it, a little bit louder, a little bit deeper. When you accelerate, you kind of know about it. You know, the KTM in comparison is a little bit analytical and clean, although, you know, I've got an aftermarket exhaust and it's not terrible by any means, but certainly it's a more visceral feel, I guess, on the road, and it is a little bit more powerful, especially with torque, so you get a more linear thing through the range. So yeah, kind of a different bike, but I'm finding so far maybe I can do most of the things on it. And the other side was the one that really triggered my purchase was I had a lot of kind of lust, if you like, of the R12 nineT, and this was really a really affordable alternative to that. And yeah, the concept I'd really kind of taken away from a challenge I'd set for myself is like, can I pay significantly less money and get something within the same kind of range as the R12 GS? And I think so. You know, I think, you know, the suspension's obviously a limitation, the ground clearance is a bit of a limitation, but not so much so like, you know, stopping short of trying to make the R12 do things that it maybe also shouldn't do. I don't think this bike really stops that much far shorter than that. I think as stock, you know, without the lowering the foot pegs, raising the bars, you know, some more ergonomic changes and things like that, and like I say, the suspension change, I don't think, maybe then, you know, you're kind of saying, well, this bike really isn't for that, but as soon as you change them, you're like, oh, okay, this is like, you know, this is within touching distance, and it's, you know, yeah, like I say, and for the road, you know, it's probably that much better. You know, it's a bit of a road carver, if you like, and like I say, the experience very versatile and raw, as I'm sure the R12 is. Well, I haven't actually ridden one, and I've yeah, just done little things. I mean, it doesn't look aesthetically that great, but you're still obviously able to put that on there for convenience, and yeah, like I say, I've been impressed with it so far. And as per the 790, I'll probably do future videos on it of travel or again, how it performs and where its maybe shortcomings are overall, or not, as the case may be. I think for the BMW, you know, probably the only real limitation, as everyone kind of notes or most people are aware of, is you know, your tanks that stick out the side. I haven't put any protection on my what do you want to call them, engine casing thus far. For the type of things that I'm doing, I'm not even maybe even crazy likely to drop it, to be fair. But even so, you know, putting some engine bars on there maybe are a little bit mandatory. Maybe even actually a skid plate, maybe even more so. Oh yeah, and the other thing I put on that's not stock for this specific variation is I put the R12 GS cowl on it, which I think looks quite nice. I had to, as if anybody wants to do that change, will say that you can get those type of screens on eBay and so on, and knockoffs, if you like, various forms, but they'll not actually mount the standard model by design, because there's like an insert here that comes out obviously on the R12 GS, and that's like a separate stock part, so you need that framing, if you like, to put the mount against. So I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why you don't see the original doing the direct swap, although you can probably, I've seen ones that are kind of half put on, but they're completely not set and waving all over the place and look a bit tacky or whatever. That's kind of a bit more like the real thing, I guess, or at least I like to think so. But yeah, like I say, so far I've been enjoying the bike, you know, as always, enjoying where a bike like this takes you, and I'll report more some other time. Cheers all.